Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Guiltspire here, and welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We are here with round one of the Sunday division with Legacy versus We Can't Loop, and joined with me today is Fire Gems. How you doing today, Fire Gems?
I'm doing pretty good. Tired, but I'm here. We're vibing. I'm excited to see what Legacy has to offer.
Awesome. No, happy to hear that you're doing well, and happy to hear that you're excited. I know I am. I'm very happy with Champions of the Fog coming back. We had a really fun round, our first match of today between EMA and Fortress One Lockers. So I'm hoping to see similar performance between these two teams here.
I'm excited to see what memories we're gonna make this season.
100%. So, with that being said, you know, it is round one. Obviously, EMA and Ford Whites came out swinging with, let's see, how many S and A tiers? We saw Blight, 2 Nurses, and a Twin, so 3 S tiers, 1 A tier. Obviously, this season, we're allowing every killer to be used twice. You know, based on that information, do you think that these two teams are going to, you know, pull out all the stops just like EMA and Ford Whites did? Or do you think that they're going to, you know, be a little bit more reserved in comparison?
I feel like if they're smart, in my opinion, they'd be a little more reserved for now.
That makes sense. You know, I can definitely understand that. Obviously, this is the only time that these two teams...
Cards.
True. You're not wrong there. Yeah, obviously this is going to be the only time that these two teams play against each other unless they do make the playoffs. Playoffs, by the way, is still in the works of what that's going to look like. So do be patient with me in that regard. But all things considered, we will be having a playoff season at the end of the regular season.
Ooh.
So trying to see here. Looks like we might need to reset the lobby, potentially. Looks like some people are not able to see one another, DBD being DBD. So Shelby could do me a favor and inform Iverson. That'd be much appreciated.
I'll let him know. Thank you.
No worries.
I remember reading about that issue, and I didn't think about much of it, but I read that issue, and I was having that same issue on stream, because someone they're playing with is on console.
Yep. Yeah, there's a few different issues going on right now with lobby. There's obviously the common one, which is you can't see one another and thus you need to do a full reset. Then there's another where...
We encountered 3. We encountered one where we had to reset. We encountered one, the one where you can't see anyone. We encountered one where they kept getting kicked from the lobby. And then there was another one where we were all readied up, and he was like, "Are you guys going to leave the match?" Because it just said we were all in a match.
Yeah. There's that one. There's also the console lobby bug right now, to where basically it's not allowing people on the same platform to join one another unless they have each other added. So it's an interesting situation, to say the least. But nonetheless, we're working through them bit by bit and getting everyone in here. So we just did restart the lobby to try and fix that. But as a reminder, for those who are not here for the first match of round one, we will be starting off with Gas Heaven. And our first killer here tonight is Iverson on We Can't Loop.
Ooh.
So hopefully you guys are excited. I have already put up a prediction in chat to see who you think will win. So 'tis time to put your channel points where your mouth is and see who you are supporting. Now, I know that, Fire Gems, you said that you didn't see a lot of Legacy play last season, but you obviously saw a bit of We Can't Loop.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Do you think We Can't Loop is going to show improvement from what you saw previous, or do you think they're going to be at a similar level to what they were last season?
I would hope that... I hope, honestly, to see improvement. And the reason I'm saying this is, in my opinion, everyone can always improve. And so if you were really good last season, I expect to see you coming and swinging and doing even better this season.
No, 110%. I mean, any of the teams who are not in the finals obviously had a bit of a reprieve, where they had some time to, sit back and practice and watch the top tier teams of UA and Fortnite's One Locker battle it out. Obviously, today was a bit of an upset as Ford Whites, I would say, narrowly lost to EMA in round 1. So EMA, with a very strong start, but to be expected based on the reputation.
I agree with that.
So with that being said, I 100% agree about teams being that much better coming into Season 1, but looks like we are going to be jumping on in as we speak to our first game, our first trial of Match 2, We Can't Loop versus Legacy. And I am very excited to see what these teams bring to the table. So, for the most part, obviously, there are what I referred to as, in the last season, I was saying top 8. This season, I'm going to say top 10 killers. With both divisions, basically, I think that's all we're going to see is the top 10 killers, give or take. Your S tier, your A tier, and a little bit of the top and the B tier. If you had to guess who Iverson's going to bring for this match, who would you say?
If I had to take a guess, I'm expecting like a Spirit, maybe a Freddy, possibly a Nurse.
I could see that. Maybe someone A tier. Obviously, Nurse or Spirit would be really coming out swinging with the S tier. But I could definitely see an A tier coming in here, or even a top B like Bubba.
Possibly like a Bubba, Freddy, something like that. Because like I said, you don't want to like use your best cards early in.
Exactly. I 100% agree. It's definitely not like Fortnite and EMA battling out, as that was a cutthroat match, to say the least. This is probably, not as cutthroat, but still, obviously, every match counts to these teams, that's for sure.
Granted, I'm also saying this without really having experience on Legacy's play.
That is true, and they're definitely not a pushover. They're not a team that you can take lightly, so I'm sure We Can't Loop understands that. But at a quick glance, looking like the builds are good to go. And we see Cyberai, Pascal, Ray, and last but not least, we see Iverson on Freddy.
I like how they instantly go on generators. That's what I love to see. I don't know how I feel about 2 people on the same gen, but I like the instant generators.
I mean, honestly, 2 people on the same gen in comp is not a bad idea, as you are able to crank out that gen within 47 seconds without proof, and with proof 40 seconds, so it makes sense to me. Especially at the beginning of this match, where you see that Iverson is not using any real start of the game gen slowdown. Obviously, we saw Ruin go off, but no prep intervention.
Go off. That's another reason why I'm like, I don't know about how I feel about one generator. Because if you do a start of a gen and you do a Ruin check, I recommend you split up on a generator. That way, yes, you'll get fast progress, but if you can pull it off with that, you've cost how much time?
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. At the same time, we do see here Ruin was cleansed, or at least a totem was. We'll assume that that was Ruin.
Was gone.
And we did see a Tinker in the distance. I do want to note, however...
We also see God Palette get trashed.
Well, I don't even want to focus in on that, as I want to focus in on Iverson making a really good play teleporting to the gen. Unfortunately, it did not work out in his favor. But still, really good heads-up play by Iverson. And almost ended up getting the down because of it. Unfortunately, even though he had some really good pressure to start, he is really starting to fall behind now, though he is able to get the first down on the Nancy.
I'm assuming a slug into a fake? Yep.
Yeah, that would make the most sense, and honestly, though in pubs that works out well, in comp I feel like teams are going to be a little bit more daring,
yeah,
especially
if I'm in comp,
States.
I don't care. I'll let you phase inside my body. I'm staying on the gen.
No, absolutely, especially because Nancy was able to really give that call out and say, hey, he's teleporting, I'll let you know if he actually does.
You can do that too, but like legit, I even did that with comp, with like a Freddy in comp when I had to play against Freddy. I let them phase inside of my character model. I just got off the gen and crouched. and then I got back on the gen.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a play, but it does look like Iverson smells blood in the water and wants a early out here. But Legacy is not going to go down without a fight and does body block it out.
It does mess it up.
I mean, not only was it good...
I meant to say it did. I said does because you said does.
it wasn't even just a good body block in a normal sense, but it was... It was good in the sense that they didn't actually take a hit for it. But now, unfortunately, getting a bit of a mess up there, giving Iverson a lot of good pressure.
Oh no! Oh, that pained me. Like as a survivor main, watching that body block pained my soul.
Yeah, no, it is rough. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But it will result in Nancy getting put onto second stage. But these survivors are putting some really good pressure down right now, where 3 gens are already down with only 2 hooks on Iverson's side.
I agree with this.
So, what are your thoughts here? If you're looking at the situation that Iverson's in, do you camp this hook to death? Do you try and pressure gens? Like, what are you doing if you were Iverson?
If I was Iverson?
Yes.
I would... I would at least try to pressure the gen that's literally right next. Like, pressure gens are nearby. I would camp, but also pressure gens are nearby.
I mean,
I'm not one for camping, but in the comp scene, sometimes it's necessary.
Oh, 110%, because at the end of the day, the game's a whole lot more manageable when it's 3 people versus, 4.
Yeah, but like, if I was ever in like an actual match, I don't care if I'm losing, I'm not gonna camp. That's just how I play.
That's fair.
In comp, I would camp. Here, that's like the best play that you can do, because you're winning those points.
Oh no, 110%. And there's no way that Nancy doesn't have BT applied right now, right? Like, 2 people came in, unless Nancy was the person with BT and Jill was the one without. That'd be my only thought process.
My only concern is Jill being the one taking a hit here, just because we've seen they're not doing too well at it.
Yeah, I mean...
From the first try.
You are correct. Jill does take the hit.
No, Nancy! What
and Nancy, I'm surprised. I think Iverson was as well, actually, because Iverson kind of stumbled there for a second.
Nancy was just charging into death, and he could have gotten that kill there.
Yeah, no, 110%. Honestly, we saw that dead hard making up the distance. But once again, we're seeing that Legacy is putting down pressure with these generators, and Nancy this time not really falling for the fake. I'll be honest with you.
Honest, he's faking too much. In my opinion, he's faking way too much. He's only done fakes at this point. It's predicted. Oh, he's doing a fake, guys. Just don't even worry about it. Every single one has been a fake.
That's honestly actually not even something that I was really too worried about. Honestly, faking too much isn't bad, because the moment that you don't, then it's fine. My biggest thing is I've seen Iverson play, and I don't know if maybe he's off his game today, but he seems a little bit all over the place. We're seeing some plays that just seem like they're not as efficient, not as clean as they normally would be.
It just feels like I'm watching gameplay of my 2 brain cells that I currently have.
That's fair, but at this point, Iverson could potentially make the move to camp out the second hook here, since he was able to get the 3 hook on Nancy, potentially camp out the second hook, and, just secure the 4 hook 2 progression 2K. I would not think that would be a bad idea in this situation.
They have really good gen prep. They have like really good gen separation. Oh, it looks like that was Pop.
Yep, Pop was used there, regressing the gen by roughly 20 seconds. And though a good attempt to slow down the ace there on that loop did not work out as well as I imagine Iverson initially wanted.
I agree with that.
So at this point, we see Claudette currently broken. I'm imagining either Deliverance or Second Wind did not pay attention to the timing. Ace here still in chase with a life play.
Not healed in a couple more seconds, then definitely Deliverance.
That makes sense, yeah. 100%. And Iverson, like I said, just kind of seeming all over the place, getting caught up on geometry, not playing smoothly. I'm definitely curious to where Iverson's head is right now, because I feel like I've definitely seen much better play from him in the past.
Yeah, you're focused 100%. I was actually thinking about what Legacy's build actually is. I'm assuming that Legacy is running, and I'm assuming based on how Legacy is playing, they have Borrowed Time, Decisive Strike, and Borrowed Time, DS, and Deliverance. And the reason I'm thinking that is, like, you'll want to get that Borrowed Time. Like, they were being really aggressive on the hook to get their Deliverance, and the only way that you would be willing to be aggressive is you have Borrowed Time as well, just to ensure that it's safe on hook.
No, 110%. I am surprised to see this play here, I will not lie. To see Iverson actually go for the gen. With no pop in hand, you have no real form of gen regression, and you just left someone on the ground that has yet to be hooked. If I was Iverson looking from a points perspective, even if they were to get the gen and I were to camp out this next hook, that would still lead me into a quote-unquote 7-hook game, and would really put a lot of pressure on Legacy in the following rounds.
Indeed. Though it does look like they should have time to hook them, to go to that Tinker gen and pop it.
100%.
But you're still gonna have progression on that other generator that you have to go check. Like immediately, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that survivor right there. Like you need to check on that other generator, because it's probably gonna prompt on Tinker any minute.
I mean, the other generator I will mention, you know, we did see had already hit 70%. Obviously, there was no regression on it prior. So it's actually above Tinker range right now, so Iverson will have 0 information regarding that.
Yeah, like you should go directly to it.
I mean, even that, though, I'd say, honestly, if I'm Iverson, I think this move here was daring as is to try and get this next hook. And does successfully get it.
I think I understand why, though. They already popped that gen. They're going to go to this gen, pop this gen. That's going to be 2 gens pressured.
Correct.
But that means that you're still going to have to go check Shack, because that gen could be getting progress back on it. Though it would make sense as well to check that back generator just to make sure it has no progress, just for the pure fact that he hasn't been checking that one.
Actually, you don't need to check Shack here. So the way that Tinker works is that at its activation, a generator is at 56 seconds out of 80, so 70%. Meaning that at the time when Tinker ends, which is give or take about 16 seconds.
I'll hatch.
That means that you still have an additional 8 seconds left. So you should be fine to simply pop it and run at that point. But I think Iverson's making the right move here. Yeah,
I'm assuming they're going to be doing a fake for another hook state for another pop, or they're going to actually go in.
Yeah, I think obviously going for the fake, doing the general regression, which is not as good as one might think. Doing a regression like that is about 0.3% per second, so it takes 3 seconds just to take off 1% of a gen.
Yeah, I do see where he was going though, considering they were probably oh, I was right, decisive. Sorry. Considering they're probably wanting to make them get off that generator just to buy enough time to get a hook, because they probably would have assumed that they're gonna tap that generator again anyway. But it was also a waste of time at the same time.
No, 110%, and I think at this point we're going to see Claudette on her third and final hook.
Oh, 4th hook? I want that perk.
Don't test behavior. I'm sure it'll come up with something.
I would like the perk called "Fuck You Killer."
Fair enough. Yeah, that would definitely be a big ol' FU, no doubt about that. But this actually puts Iverson into a very interesting position now. So, obviously, we're 7 hooks in, all of them with 0 progressions. Survivors have now finished their 5th generator. If Iverson's able to get this 3rd hook here, or 3rd survivor onto a hook, and camp it out, that puts We Can't Loop into a very advantageous position going into trial number 2.
It does.
So
I do, honestly, at the same time, I feel kind of like Legacy started underestimating and is giving them more points than pretty honestly, in my opinion, could have gotten or should be getting.
No, I 110% agree, but based on the positioning that the ace has right now, there's no way that Iverson's able to get this next down.
Unless they just pull up some hacks, no.
It would be impressive, but that's a no right there. So we are ending that match with a 2-man out, and we're looking at 29 points to Legacy to 28 points to We Can't Loop. So at the end of the day, for the sake of prediction, it looks like Legacy will pull out the win. just barely with that 1 point. But, I mean, it's still anyone's game moving into trial number 2.
This is how many games that are just a 1 point difference that I've been
Yeah.
in now.
But honestly, I love that, because when I see close games like this, that means that, in my opinion, the point system is working. So I love seeing these type of close games, because it doesn't favor, you know, Survivor's side or Killer's side, because I've played too many comp games of Dead by Daylight, where it's like, oh, well, the Killer gets 1 point per hook, and Survivors get 1 point per gen, and then X number of points per escape. I'm like,
Yeah.
that
What I
doesn't
really
make
do
much
enjoy
sense.
too is not only that, but it also does show that like we're taking time into picking which teams go against each other to make it fair.
I mean, I'm not picking which teams go against each other. I'll be honest, the way in which it works is that's based on your availability. Sunday division is late night availability, while the Saturday team is early day availability. And then my round robin generator is what makes it work from there.
Huh.
So this is
Well,
complete
it's
by
going pretty
happenstance.
well.
So let's see here. Do need to see who is going to be killing first for Legacy. I'll let Shelby confirm that for me, and then I'll have them invite me to the lobby. It looks like it's going to be Sai.
Yeah, it's Sai. He's gonna be killing first.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. And if you could do me the favor of confirming the prediction, that would also be much appreciated.
And we'll be honest, I feel like they should have had a perk in place of lethal.
Yeah, I think Corruption Invention would have been the right move. Like I was kind of talking about before the stream actually started, Gas 7 specifically is very consistent in its spawn generation of Survivor and Killer. So for me, if I spawn in a specific location in Gas 7, I know exactly where Survivor spawn without a question. Like, there is little to no RNG on that map for a spawn.
What's great is Guilt knows that, and I spawned in, and I'm just like, oh, where am I?
Yeah, you can tell I spend...
Like, I spawn in and spend like 2 seconds processing life as like my brain cell tries to understand what's going on.
That is fair, that is fair. I mean, to be fair, I spent 1,700 hours on this game inside of 12 months, so,
Yeah, I mean, I've spent a little over 2,000. I just don't pay attention. I'm just like, huh, yes, I'm going to talk with chat, and I'm going to do a gen. Oh, I'm in chase. Well, fuck.
Fair, fair.
Man.
But with that being said, trying to get We Can't Loop into lobby. So overall, what were your thoughts at the end of all that?
My thoughts, personally?
Yep.
The Legacy gave them points. In my opinion, Legacy like started underestimating the Freddy's gameplay and was pretty much feeding them points.
Yeah, I will say at some point you're not wrong that they definitely gave up points that they probably shouldn't have. I'll be honest though as well, Iverson was just not really on top of the game as I've seen them prior.
Not only that, but I feel like cool, you have lethal. I love you a lot. Take it off. You don't need the little training wheels.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not even that, in my opinion. There are better perks at the beginning of the game than lethal.
Yeah, like there's corrupt intervention. Like that's really good.
Exactly. No, that's my thought exactly there. That corrupt intervention.
If you're not gonna do corrupt, like do undying and ruin.
Yeah. It makes me question, did they get the value that they're looking for out of that perk? And I think, though, yes, they entered into a chase very early. At the same time, the answer is no.
Because they didn't get the down early.
Yeah, that is a big thing. They did interrupt the first gen, which had 2 people on, which is very good. But realistically speaking, the main issue, of course, is the fact that they didn't get that down early either and allowed other gens to Tinker Proc and Ruin to get cleansed. There's a whole, downside to using it where the main benefit to Corrupt Intervention on Freddy 2 is the fact by the time that the first gen's going to activate with Tinkerer, you're already going to have your teleport up and ready. And the survivors are going to be asleep more likely than not within the first minute. So I think that's another big thing that Corrupt benefits from. And at the very least, if you ran Barbecue and Chili over Corrupt and Lethal, then you're going to be able to know if with Pop in hand, know exactly where they are, what gen they're working on, and then pop it accordingly.
Like, if you really wanted Lethal Pursuer, just pump Barbecue. Cool, you have Lethal Pursuer now, but you have the entire game.
Yeah, you're not wrong, you're not wrong. There's definitely a time and place for Lethal, in my opinion. But it can definitely
like, if you want to do, like, fucking Sniping Huntress and become Umbra, go off, put on Lethal.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I like it as a perk. Do not get me wrong, but I think that there are definitely better perks to run in that circumstance.
Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. Like, honestly, I think Lethal Pursuer is a bad perk. Like, in my opinion, Lethal Pursuer is a bad perk, like, for comp. If you're wanting to mess around, like, on Huntress or something, then it's a good perk for, like, sniping practice or something like that. But, like, in a tourney stance, it's not really that good, in my opinion.
I'll agree, but real quick, while we are waiting for We Can't Loop, if Shelby, could you let We Can't Loop know that we have the lobby ready and for them to join at their leisure? There is roughly a 15-minute timer on that, as I did mention in the match earlier today, that a new rule has been implemented that if you are not in lobby within the first 15 minutes out of its creation, you will end up forfeiting that match.
I like that, honestly.
You know, trying to keep things a little bit snappy. At the end of the day, it's something that was discussed in Season 0, and we didn't really see much need for it going to Season 1, but I think it's probably a good idea to have that just in our back pocket.
I agree.
But with that being said, things outside of comp. We have some, this is going to probably rile up chat a little bit. But Tuesday, do you know what happens Tuesday, Fire Gems?
Tuesday's the day I go cry because matchmaking.
Well, some people will cry, some people like myself will be a little bit happy, I'm not going to lie. I'm actually kind of excited for MMR to come to the game. I'm very excited for Hellraiser and Pinhead to be coming to the game.
The thing is, we're getting grades and I've never been good at math.
So I don't know. I think it's going to be beneficial in the long run. Obviously, I think the top percenters of those who are on the top end of play, whether it be survivor or killer, they might suffer a little bit. You know, people like EMA, probably people like myself.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it because, like, I was doing PTB during this time, and like my rank, like my quote-unquote grade, was like the red rank 1, which is like this. I don't like it. It's like an ugly
Eerie 1.
It looks gross. It looks disgusting. Yeah, I was Eerie 1, but I was Eerie 2 because they reset it back to like during rank reset. So I was 4 on PTB, 1 on actual game.
Yep.
But I was getting like people I was going against were like your brown ranks, but the team of survivors was still like my rank. And it's like,
this is some nice MMR.
Well, so keep in mind that the way in which they translated the emblem status is not reflective on your MMR, but reflective of the current ranking system. So as you play more, you'll basically move from Ash 4 to Eerie 1. Kind of like, you know, from 20 to 1 during that month.
yeah.
But you can be an Ash 4 with a high MMR if you play well, let's say the month prior, but just didn't play at all this month. Basically how they're looking at it. So when you're playing against those Ash 4s, that meant from the 3 months of data that they gathered, that Ash 4 was equivalent to you in rank.
Even though they got stomped, which I felt terrible.
And so that brings up the next issue, as if you're playing Swift, it does take the average of the total MMR based on what we're being told.
Yeah, some of them were solos, and I was getting this, and it's like,
ooh.
Yeah. And even before that, the other matchmaking, like the season before that, I would get a yellow rank killer 1 match, and then I would get a rank 1, and it would just go between yellow and red.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I think the long run's going to be beneficial. I know that a lot of people are not happy about it, but I'm hopeful that as we get more time into
To be honest, I don't care as long as I'm not getting fucking punished for being face camped and hit on a hook because I triggered a killer.
That is fair. That is fair.
I get punished a lot. Like, if you even go look at my stream, I get tunneled and camped a lot, and I get punished for it. And it's like, cool. I'm gonna just grab my phone real fast. Just gonna watch some YouTube or something.
I mean, there's also, you know, as you and I both know, TTV syndrome. They see TTV, it's like, oh, I must tunnel out to TTV. I must mori them.
Tunnel with my name, like locker room and stuff too. Like, it doesn't matter what my name is.
fair.
I've just kind of given up. Like, the reason I do TTV is because I get that same treatment without it. So might as well just get some free promotion in.
Yeah, fair. And beside MMR, obviously we have Pinhead coming as a killer.
I'm sorry, but like I can't take Pinhead seriously ever since my friend Bomb joined Voice Chat. Was like, I can't wait to give everyone bondage.
I mean, if you've ever watched Hellraiser, not far
he was
off.
punching me down in a PCB just to chain me repeatedly, and he picked Hawkins.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for Pinhead. I'm interested to see if their changes really make a difference.
Yeah, I hope so, because I hope I actually get to play against him without being fucking hooked while there's not a hook in my body.
Yeah.
Like those chains were still bugged.
I would hope that they have fixed all the bugs that they experienced, 100%. But it does look like we have all the survivors in the lobby. Of course, we are going to be waiting for confirmation from Shelby on the builds before we give them the go-ahead.
Yeah, I'm waiting on one more build. The last person has not sent it yet. Oh, actually, they just did, so one moment.
Thank you.
The Spangman is brighter than my future.
But in the meanwhile, we can have a chat with Mr. Blight here.
Dude, I actually like that cosmetic. Like, I like it up close.
Oh, the cosmetic is freaking beautiful.
Yeah. I wish that like the jaw didn't exist. Like the blighted part, just like if you cover your hand, like if you cover that part with your hand, and just look at the skull, it looks so nice.
Yeah, but they need to have some form of drippy. You know, that's what Blight's known for, is being drippy boy.
He can drip from like the bottom of the jaw, like the bottom of like the skull, with the having like. There's hands.
Oh yeah, have you not noticed that before? Oh yeah.
I noticed like the little hands in the back.
Yeah, no, there's the hands on the shoulder, the hands on the mouth.
I was like, turned his head to the side and the hands just started jiggling.
Yep, yeah, no. Like, the amount of detail in the skin is kind of ridiculous between the hands, the faces. I think there's a ghost face or mask here as well on him. Like, there's so much little detail on this skin. It's kind of ridiculous.
So much detail on the skin and behavior still can't fix a bug. I mean, what?
At the end of the day, they're two different teams, but I will say the cosmetic team, as always, knocked it out of the park.
Amazing. Except for anyone that does clown cosmetics, I hate you. Not really, though.
Well, you just hate the clown, period.
Beautiful is a bit of a stretch.
I mean, it looks pretty freaking awesome, let's be real. Especially the weapon with the detail of the skeletons on the oar holding oars.
If he came over and asked you out on a date, would you say yes?
What, Blight? No.
Yes.
There's a difference between beautiful and beautiful. Like, it's beautifully done, cosmetically, but is Blight
like,
beautiful?
Hey, Blight, you're beautiful, but no.
Yeah, not in that way. Not in that way. Beautifully created as in a piece of art, but not beautiful as in
Fire, toxic.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I do believe we are good to go on all the builds.
Awesome. In that case, I'll let them know. Good to go. And with that being said, that here will start up trial number 2 once we get a ready up from Techno the Yui. And yes, you are right, Sayo. We do have 3 TTVs here. To be fair, actually, I want to say like a large majority of the comp scene are Twitch streamers to some degree, whether it be casually or like as full-time jobs like myself.
Mine's my only job at the moment. I still like I'll just stream for a drop as well, but like I play it casually at the same time.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's not an easy job to do either.
It's not.
There's a lot of time that goes into all of this, whether it be myself with commissioning my own league and handling all of this, to personal stuff where I do content creation offline. Like, if anyone wants perk cards, I actually just went through and made all 84 perk cards for Killer, which I'm going to be using for some upcoming videos, so I'm kind of excited about that.
Like the file perk cards for images?
Yeah, so like full-on images of all the perks, the descriptions, full through and through. But build looks good on Survivor side.
It sounds cool.
And we are playing with an Oni here today.
If you make some Survivor perk cards, you should let me know.
Yes, that's actually my next.
On some YouTube. Eventually, I'm going to actually make a YouTube. I have a YouTube channel made. Nothing's on me yet, but I'll eventually be posting YouTube videos as well.
Yes, that is something that's in the works. But beside that, Oni has officially found his first survivor, and survivors are.
Oh, dumb tech and comp, and it works.
I mean, yeah, it works.
What?
I had to pause there for a second, going, wait, is this actually going to work? And yeah, yes, it did actually.
What did I just watch?
That
they just pulled a play that I do, and I'm brain dead.
Yeah, that was a little bit surprising. I will not lie, because normally if I see someone attempt dumb tech, I just walk backwards and I keep on walking backwards until they're within line of sight or I realize they've went elsewhere. But you know, Jake, or is this Jake? No, Adam. Adam here really pulling out all the stops to try and deny Oni early value and ensure that he's not able to get his power, but
I would have saved that pallet.
Does end up taking a hit here. I mean, I think that was a good move. I think hit validation could have gone either way on that hit, to be honest.
With my luck, I would have kept going, or tried a cheeky 360 there instead of throwing on the pallet.
That's fair, but unfortunately, these survivors are way out of position on this gen, and that will give Oni his power. So next stealthy survivor he sees, I'm very certain that this Oni is going to be going all out.
We haven't learned. We don't know the true test though. Does he know how to curve, or is he like me?
That definitely will decide a lot here. First gen has been done.
Or does he just know how to be depressed?
Fair, fair. And I will say, chat did make a good comment here that Adam had life there for that dumb tech, so it does make a bit of sense doing that. You know, dropping pallet and getting that value, and really good pallet drop there by Techno.
Yeah. I did enjoy watching that dumb tech though. Just like, that's something I would do. I'd be like, I'm gonna go in a tournament and I'm gonna dumb tech a killer just for the lulz.
That's fair, that's fair. And I'll say, these survivors are doing a fantastic job of keeping this Oni at bay, but unfortunately, not able to make it happen here, and does end up going down in the garage.
What surprises me is he can't get it down in the open, but you put him in a confined space where there's like 30 walls that he can hit, and he is just fucking a god, apparently.
Hey, at the end of the day, sometimes you have your expertise, and it seems that maybe they also play a little bit of Blight, as, you know, seeing that type of slide is not uncommon for either Blight or Oni, and really making good use of their environment. But the one thing I'll note is the fact that that was pretty much their entire power they used, and that's actually a really bad spot for Oni to be in, because at this point, they're going to find 2 survivors before they're able to use their power again. And Oni seeing scratch marks, but not able to identify where they're at.
Looks like he's gonna just go right back to basement.
I mean, I think that'd be the smart play, right?
Yeah. I think the smart play would also be grabbing that blood that he's passing. Ooh, close.
Yeah, definitely a close hit, but once again, giving Oni half his power now. I mean, the blood orbs are good, but unfortunately it does slow you down as you try and grab them. So if you already have someone in mind, you know, it's not a bad idea. Not to mention that I usually only use the blood to top myself off in comparison to, you know, when you have half your power to regain, right?
Yeah, that was also a good attempt at a 360, but I feel like I feel judged. Sometimes that'll happen to me too. Like I'll get a really good 360 and the kill will just stare at me.
I mean,
That's
hey,
what happens.
as I've told you many times before, a 360 is flashy and all, but does not always get your results.
True, it is flashy. Doesn't always get results, but even if it doesn't get results, it still stalls a couple extra seconds because they just kind of like still wait it out and just stare at you.
Fair, fair. And like we were saying earlier, you know, picking up these blood orbs here to kind of top himself off. And I am a bit surprised.
Instantly into power without having a target?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised here. I think maybe trying to pressure the unhook, but the moment that these fires hear that, they're going to know, okay, we're not even going to attempt. But now Oni is in a good position here for this Demon Rush, but will not be able to make it connect.
Ooh, that was such a good curve, but in the double smash. Help.
And now we're kind of in a very awkward position for We Can't Loop as they have one person on hook, one person slugged out nearby. Oni still with plenty of time left on their power, but looks like Wakanda with a deliverance. And Oni not noticing.
Wait, and their name is Wakanda. I didn't realize that. That's great.
And their name is Wakanda. I'm wondering if Oni even noticed them get off the hook there because of the same time that Ruin got popped. It's almost the back-to-back noise notifications. And that will be the 4th gen now for We Can't Loop. So if we had to make guesses here right now based on what we're seeing, how many people do you think We Can't Loop is going to be able to get out here?
I'll be optimistic and say 3. Maybe Oni can get a kill.
I think 3 is honestly a good number here for Oni. I think Oni between now and the next gen will be able to get someone down. But right now, they're really lacking as far as their meter for their power. They need to get pretty much 2 hits, or, well, okay. I was going to say 2 hits, but then I see this fountain of blood here for Oni, so a little bit dicey there, to say the least. And Oni smells blood in the water and will be going down, or going for the second slug, and these survivors playing it smart and playing it safe, dropping these pallets as soon as possible. I'm really surprised to see that they decided to push this gen and not the ones that were, well, farther away.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Quite interesting.
I mean, it would have been really easy for them to go into Garage and 2-man that instead and really put Oni into an awkward position. But instead, now they've put themselves into one, even if this last gen has been completed.
Indeed.
Oni now trying to use those power and try and get a sense for where these survivors are. Honestly, if Oni's in his power, going for the Sun Hook is not a good idea.
Oh my god, Fang, you're a legend.
So that was strange. Note 2 things here. Oni slammed too early, hit the Adam, who was not off a hook yet. Adam then got Adrenaline off the hook, getting a full heal.
Adam and Sprint Burst.
I mean, it would be Adrenaline first because you can't stack Adrenaline's
True.
Exhaustion and Sprint Burst unless you time it
But Adrenaline gives you
just
a Sprint
right.
Burst.
Yes. You do gain that extra momentum for sure.
That was pretty spicy.
Yeah, honestly, I think if Oni had waited just a few more seconds, they actually probably would have ended up with a additional, potentially 2 downs there.
What do I win? What do I win, Gil? I guess 3.
Yeah, you sure did. And in this case, we're looking at We Can't Loop with 38 points of the 3-man out, and Legacy as the Oni with 23 points. Total points at the end of that round, we're looking at 66 points with We Can't Loop and 52 points with Legacy. So if we could confirm that over on the predictions would be much appreciated.
Also, the tourney is going to be going on until midnight tonight, right?
Yes, we are going to have a pretty late night tonight. Obviously, it depends on how early this game ends in comparison to the start of the next. Next one will start at 10 p.m. CST sharp.
Okay.
But with that being said, I do believe Legacy is going to be changing out their killer here. I will want to get confirmation from our referee Shelby momentarily.
I believe they are changing out. I'm just confirming what map we're on with them.
They're going to be on Coal Tower for this one. Ironworks of Misery, unfortunately, did get shelved for right now, as both Leary's and Ironworks have a desync issue, which some other leagues have banned those maps temporarily for. But with that being said, I mean, honestly, it wasn't a bad showing by the Oni. I think there was a few mistakes here and there, some usage of their power, and in some cases, overcommitting to chases where they could have otherwise pressured gens.
I agree.
But otherwise, really great showing from the Survivor team here. You know, trying to ensure that those chases were long and that the Oni's power was, you know, exhausted to the best of their ability, not giving them the ability to simply one-hit a healthy Survivor and gain the power back again. It was always 2 hits after 2 hits that they consistently needed to get.
I'm that adrenaline play though.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh god, they're unhooking with Oni, with his power in hand. This might result in a double down. So...
I don't know how that lasted so long, but that was spicy.
Well, I think what happened was that Oni probably didn't swing late enough. Otherwise, he probably could have gotten the Unhooker and potentially the Atom, because a lot of people have failed to realize that when Oni hits you with his power, he slams it a few additional times, and the Survivor crosses...
He throws like a little tantrum, like a little angry baby.
He does. And during that time, if another Survivor steps through that swing, you also get insta-down, so you can get some really cheeky 2-for-1s.
It's just playing bowling with Survivors.
Exactly.
Dude, chat with these cheesy pickup lines.
I've been seeing them here and there, yeah. But looks
There's another one.
like...
Are you the doctor? Because you make me scream.
So it looks like we're going to be getting Ruth in on Killer. We initially were thinking it's going to be Pask, but apparently not. So with that being said, I will need them to send me an invite, as I do not believe I have them added, as well as to have that communicated over to We Can't Loop so the Survivor team can also add them in due time.
There's another one, it's not really a pickup line, but I fell in love with the spirit. Turns out it was just a phase.
There's so many bad Dead by Daylight
ones.
Yeah, there's so many
and these are ones that
bad
I've came
puns.
up with. I get palette because you're stunning.
Oi. I feel like I need Spirit Fairy for that one. But we will be getting into this third trial momentarily. And in the meanwhile, I do believe that we got the last prediction settled in, and now we have the next one going up as we speak.
Yeah, honestly, the worst like pickup line I've ever heard. This one got told to me in chat. Someone said, I can't even say it.
Oh god. What is it? I'm curious now.
Can I put my ace in your hole?
Oi.
That was a pickup line.
I mean, is that really even a pickup line?
It's so bad.
Isn't that just like straight up
so
innuendo at that point?
It was so trash.
As like the one I just saw, I think I saw, "Are you a locker because I want to be inside of you," was one I just saw. That one's at least a little bit better in comparison to Ace in the Hole.
The Ace in the Hole one was terrible.
Yeah, just a wee bit. That's more innuendo than it is a pickup line, let's be real.
Yeah. Man, Dead by Daylight has so many terrible ones.
100%, 100%. But with that being said, you know, right now, if we're looking at the score, it's not as if there's a very large gap between We Can't Loop and Legacy, so Legacy can definitely come back here and really put the pressure onto We Can't Loop going into this final round. So if you're Legacy and you're 14 points away, what would you be bringing to the table here?
I'm not sure.
I mean, personally, if I'm kind of looking at it, you know, I'd be probably looking at, you know, probably another A-tier killer. I know Oni is considered more A-tier, but I put him probably towards the lower end of A-tier, so maybe we see a Freddy again, or if they really want to be daring, bring in even an S-tier.
You could do a Freddy again, true. I don't know, though.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting decision, to say the least.
It's a very hard decision.
Sorry for the delay. We're just confirming with Ruth their ID, but it looks like they might be able to join on you. It's just kind of a weird back and forth right now.
Well, they won't be able to join on me. They need to be host, just so that way ping and connection is good to go for them. We prioritize killer as host, and then base ping off of that.
That I just got the new ID, so we are good. I'm gonna go give it to them so they have it.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
Wait, I thought of another good one.
Oh god.
Want a barbecue and chill?
That's not too bad. That one's okay. That one's okay. I've heard worse ones, we'll put it that way.
Man.
But do apologize about my camera being out. Apparently, OBS has decided to have some technical issues with that, but at the very least, audio should be good to go. But as we do get this taken care of...
For all white.
Hmm?
Oh, I was reading one in chat. 4 nights I'll walk into a bar after a long chase. The bartender, seeing how beat up they are, asks, "Are you for alt white?"
That's a good one, but I'll say, honestly, if I was for Dwight's after today's match, they played really well. I do want to commend them of how well they played today against EMA.
I'm very happy for the Colton Dwights.
Yes. I mean, they are my first DBD comp team, so I'm very proud of them and how far they've come.
I just believe in Dwight supremacy. I mean, Dwight and Jake. Dwight is such an underrated character.
I mean, Dwight was an OG, and he has been the butt of many jokes.
Yeah.
But just waiting for the next invite coming in. I believe we're still sorting some stuff out, but this is why I do request, obviously you're more than welcome to change your killers partway into the match. Just try and schedule it with the ref accordingly so we can get this sorted out throughout the match rather than at the beginning of the next trial. So a little lesson learned for future teams. Please keep this in mind so we can try and keep the matches as short as possible and the time in between them as short as possible as well. Let me see if maybe another member of Legacy is with the others, but does not appear to be that case.
I'm trying to think more pickup lines.
Of course you are. Of course you are. I think that's
there is one that's like, "Are you the killer? Because you make me dead hard." And that's another one I thought about when I first started using dead hard, but it's not. I don't like the pickup line as much anymore because dead hard is just an abusive relationship. It doesn't really work.
Oi. That's all I have to say to that. That's all I have to say to that.
I'm addicted to dead hard, but it just doesn't work. I just face plant. The most frustrating thing is, like, you dead hard, go through the animation, and then you're exhausted, and on the right hand side, you just see like you're exhausted and go, "Oh shit, I'm gonna leave," and no longer exhausted. It's like never happened.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Like there's no proof.
Yeah, I'm hoping that with the most recent developer update, they have since fixed Dead Hard. They said they have. Whether or not that is the case, I'm not entirely certain, to be honest. And Shelby, any updates regarding Legacy?
We have invites set out. I'm waiting on Rue to accept Techno's because when she has Techno, then he can invite everybody to the match. So I'm waiting on her to do that. I just reminded them that we are on a timer to kind of reiterate that, but that's what we're waiting on right now.
I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think I've seen that DBD ID. So let me add them. As a reminder, if you do have multiple accounts and thus because of that, you know, multiple DBD IDs, please do coordinate with me to have that added to your DBD ID so we can confirm. So with that being said, do you keep that in mind?
Are you Wi-Fi? Because I'm feeling a connection.
Criminy.
And
Criminy.
the only build, I'm sorry, I was gonna say the only build I'm waiting on is the killers. I had muted to that.
I just
The
tried to
only
give
build we're
everyone a good
waiting on
laugh. I'm trying.
is for the killer right now. That's all we're waiting on.
Gotcha. If you could reiterate to Legacy that Ruth does need to be the host, and that joining me is unfortunately not an option in this case. They need to be a host, that way the connection's based off of them, and ping should be based off of them as well.
Are you alone? Because you've got my interest.
Oi.
Oh man.
So as I said earlier, that ship has sailed. So you know, with that being said, with Pinhead being added to DVD, a lot of people are saying that his Mori is the best. I want an argument in chat. Whose Mori is the best in DVD now?
I mean, obviously Pinhead's Mori is the best because you got bugged with the chain, so you got Mori'd behind him and you didn't even go into hell correctly.
I mean, personally, I still like Ghostface. I just love the fact.
Ghostface and Myers.
Myers I don't care for as much, but like Ghostface, in my opinion, is probably the best.
I actually, there was a match with the Ghostface. Didn't know he had a Mori, I'm gonna be honest. I was going for a flashlight save on someone. Because I was trying to farm with this Ghostface, I was trying to be his friend. And he didn't like that, he hooked me. Came back. Someone was on death hook. Was trying to save them. And this Ghostface just terminated this player in front of me, started Moriing them. I walk over and just join him for the selfie, and he just messes around me for the rest of the game. And it comes down to me and one more survivor for hash to spawn, and the survivor is Moriable. And he carried the survivor to me, dropped him on the ground, and swung at me and wanted me to take another selfie with them as they Moried the last person and let me out.
Oh, interesting times. Ghostface is known for the memes.
Yeah, he thanked me for the selfies.
But it looks like we are finally in lobby. And at this point are just waiting on the builds. I see a lot of people saying Trickster and Ghostface.
I do like Trickster's Mori too, because it says thank you.
Yeah, I do like Tricksters as well, but I don't know. I still really do like Ghostface.
You're a pretty Trickster, I'll take your autograph.
All right. And hold on a second, please reference the rules. All right.
Other Mori, so good.
I mean, main ones I kind of
Chopper
mind.
had such good potential for a Mori. When I first joined this game, I thought this was gonna be Trapper's Mori. Like, if you had a trap on him, I thought this was gonna be his Mori. I thought he was gonna open a trap and place it on the ground in front of you, and then slam your face into it. That's what I thought his Mori was gonna be. And I was really disappointed when I learned that wasn't the Mori. Because I just wanted to get my face smashed in by a bear trap.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people want. You know what I'd love them to do, and obviously this is going to happen way after they fix everything else that's wrong with the game, is that they go back through the Moris and update some that they can and make them better, like Wraith, who just whacks you in the back. Trapper pretty much just does the same. You know, I'd love for them to update those at some point.
Another one. Clown's Mori? I hate Clown, but, so you know how Ash, I forget which hand Ash's hand is that's metal, but because Ash is a guy character and has a metal hand, they actually made it where Clown's Mori. Clown Mori is the men's other hand, and the woman's hand, like, they Mori the opposite hand. So the finger that Clown cuts off depends on your gender, on which hand it'll be.
Interesting. Was not aware of that.
Yeah, they had to do it because Ash has a metal finger.
That makes sense, yeah. That does make sense.
It was very interesting, though.
Sorry, just currently
watching
confirming
Light just
builds
freaking
as
head.
we wait here.
Light's so jittery. Someone give him a blanket.
And just want to confirm time, though we are in lobby. Let's see. Just want to double check. We're coming up to that 15-minute mark, so I do want to reiterate to Legacy, though we are in lobby right now, we do need their build ASAP. So I would recommend that Ruth take this a little bit more seriously, unlike what I'm seeing in the pre-game lobby. If they do not, and I'm going to give them an extra 4 minutes since we're in the lobby, if we do not have builds ready within 4 minutes, they will forfeit this trial. And that will be the final call. Unfortunately, not only is my time valuable, but everyone else's time as well, so I do want to keep that in mind. But looks like we do have the build. I want to confirm with Shelby that both Survivor and Killer builds are good to go.
Just checking this killer. I believe that is... I'm not obviously going to say the killer, but I'm looking to make sure that that's the right green. Okay, you are good to go on both sides. I never got a confirmation on the map being set, though, so you might want to type that into the chat. I never got a confirmation one way or the other.
All right, confirming that now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And in that case, we are good to go. But with that being said, very, very excited with the start of trial number 3. Just waiting on Techno, the UE, to ready on up. Are we still going on with freaking pickup lines in chat?
We
Is that...
I've been reading
How
them.
many can you possibly come up with?
I mean, I came up with a bunch, but you said we were done, so I stopped.
I thought
I've
chat,
been reading
like,
chats.
chat was done, and then you weren't done. Then I look back at chat, and apparently chat's not done.
Me and Chad are flirting with each other. We're making a connection. We have chemistry.
Criminy.
Me and Chad have chemistry, okay?
Oh, my God. So, with that being said, we are finally into trial number 3. This time, Ruth as the killer against We Can't Loop.
It's not our fault. You're playing play. It was just too much alchemy.
Apparently. Alright. Alright. So, let's take a look at Survivor Perks real quick, make sure everything is good to go, and it is. So we're jumping right on in, and we see Ruth as the nurse.
I do love these nurse gameplay.
Yeah, so Legacy really pulling out the stops here, using one of their nurse matches to try and, you know, bridge the gap that they're...
I'm sorry, I just saw another map and I was thrown off.
Yeah, that was a little bit odd. I won't lie. I'm not sure if they saw that on their side or if it's a spectator bug, because there's plenty of those when it comes to nurse. Let's put it that way.
I think the best one is nurse's figure not existing.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's also like Spirit with her hair not existing too. There's a lot of spectator bugs. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, indeed, I agree.
But with Ruth getting the first hit on Wakanda here,
That was very spicy.
they're making
Now
some
go back. Oh,
interesting plays, I'll be honest here, where they're kind of not moving prior to their blink, and I'm not entirely sure why that is.
I don't know. Maybe they've just practiced nurse's blink attacks without moving, so if they do it with moving, it's gonna mess them up.
Maybe. That's not the wrong possibility, but we do see the first down on Techno here. And first hook for the nurse, but we do in the distance also see a Tinkerer, which I do find Tinkerer on nurse a little bit interesting when double range is not allowed. That's more of a perk I see for range-based nurses. What are your personal thoughts on that?
I don't know. Like, I agree with you. Like, it's much better on range goes. They knew they messed up there. That intense head shake.
Yeah, I find nurses are rather expressive when they make mistakes, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That is now the second hook for the nurse, and we do see the unhook on Techno in the meanwhile. Corrupt Intervention has since let up and does give these survivors free reign on these generators.
Indeed. So now we're watching a 3 perk nurse.
Yeah, at the very least 3 perk nurse that we know of, and does get another down on Techno. I'm not sure if they are just trying to hide out, and honestly, I'm surprised that they knew their exact location. Maybe they heard a little bit more grunts of pain than I did.
If I was a nurse, I'd want to terminate Techno. They don't know where my totem is, and that's too much.
That is true, that is true. Though depending on your build, you might actually want them to know.
True.
There's some,
Even if you want them to know, you might want to mind game them into making them not think they should know.
True, you're not wrong in that. Because if you do look around, you have been attentive as I have, you do see that there are 3 totems in the match. So
I do as well.
It could possibly be that we're seeing something like Undying, obviously there's Ruin, but also could be Devour or Haunted Ground.
But honestly, if I had Haunted, I would want to pretend like, oh no, my totem.
That is fair, though never a bad time for Haunted to get proc.
Like, you make it where you want them to cleanse it, they're gonna be like, no. That's what I do. If you want me to cleanse a totem, I am not gonna cleanse it.
That's fair, but especially if Ruin, Tinker on Nurse, you do need to be a wee bit careful at times.
That was a sexy death hard.
That was a really
Nurse's
good...
arm broke there. Oh god.
Yeah, that had been some really good dead hards in avoiding this Nurse through and through, so very good job. But I want to note that we have not seen a second Tinker proc activate this entire time.
True.
So these survivors definitely are struggling a little bit and definitely need to take the time to reset here.
I'm gonna be honest, the Adam kind of startled me. Blink issue?
Yeah, what happened there is that she was not looking up enough and thus did not have enough blink to go through the hill. She needed to go on top of the hill first or around the hill. And we do see...
I see a bright Fangman.
We do see the first totem go out, and once again, Nurse just jumping on top of Techno without any hesitation.
That was pretty spicy. This is going really well for them. Like, this Nurse is going pretty well.
Yes.
This is a very good start.
I'll be
honest. Procs, and someone did.
Yep, and looks like I'm surprised there that we can't loop actually cleanse that totem, because I do want to note something. We saw that gen, it was not regressing, Rune got cleansed. But now we see another totem pop, and I think these survivors are going to be less than happy about it, as Haunted Grounds has activated.
I have a totem rule. If you're playing with me, if there's Ruin, get the shiny totem. That's my rule. If there's not Ruin, or if Ruin's gone, before you're touching a damn totem, you're looking for another shiny totem.
I mean, it's not even that, but honestly, if you don't know what the totem is, just don't touch it. It is as simple as that.
My thing is, though, like, if it's Haunted Grounds, there'll be 2 of them. If it's not Haunted Grounds, there's only 1 of them. So I always search for a second one before I even consider touching it.
I mean, I definitely agree with that sentiment, but I don't know. I feel that people are a little bit too antsy to do totems sometimes, and I think the right call there, as we're seeing, would have been to just simply not do a totem, because now we see a Tinker proc in the distance. That was nowhere near the first hook. We see Ace now on hook, and the only thing that they can do is try and get to the hook before the Nurse
And if that
gets.
totem was Devour, they would have probably had the first act. So you would've
Correct. So I just think a
So
really...
it was just child's play.
Yeah, I just think a really, really big misplay by We Can't Loop, as at this point, Nurse is a one-perk nurse with nothing but Tink and no real gen aggression. If they had just been patient, they had not activated Haunted Ground, then they would have been in a really, really good position to potentially win this.
But a nurse has Tinker and a Dream and a bunch of points.
110%.
That's not on the gen.
I mean, honestly, that was the best case scenario for the nurse here because that means they know where the survivor is. So yeah, you got another generator, but guess what? She can just wait out the entire situation at hand.
Oh, and you have a gen done, but I can now blink to you, and you are the only person left.
Yep, pretty much. And she'll get the down, and now all she needs to do is wait out the potential BT, and this game is pretty much over.
Ooh, look at the zoomies.
Yeah, good
Don't
life
do it.
there by
Don't do it. Oh
Adam.
my god, I thought it was gonna do it.
And almost vaulted into Nurse, but does not matter. Unless one of these survivors has Unbreakable, I think this is it. And
she's playing
speaking
Minecraft.
of, there's Fang Mid with Unbreakable.
I love this nurse so much.
Very emotive. I'll say it that way.
I feel like this nurse would be like the one to just start like screaming random things if there was in-game voice chat.
I would love a day where there's like proximity
Maybe
chat
like, I
in
want
Dead by
like
Daylight.
an April Fool's joke. Like April Fool's proximity chat.
What? Well then, that was mildly unexpected. I was like, oh, they finished off a gen, just trying to stop the bleeding, and Hatch is right there.
Oh.
Rather unexpected to say the least.
Damn.
But not bad at all. I think, honestly, some huge misplays by We Can't Loop, but otherwise, very good play by Ruth the Nurse.
This nurse played beautifully.
No, 110%. And so what we're looking at there for the final score, we're looking at 38 for Legacy. And we are looking at 12 for We Can't Loop. So definitely not a close match, all things considered, when it comes to your point totals. But at the end of the day, it will, you know, definitely make it, put all the pressure on We Can't Loop for this final round. So not bad at all, as we have our current score at the end of trial number 3 at 102 Legacy to 82 We Can't Loop.
That was a nice hatch play. I'm at a loss for words.
No, like when I saw, it's like, okay, you know, gen pop, that's fine, whatever. And then I saw a hatch, I'm like, excuse me, what?
It took me a second to process, because at first, I didn't see the hatch, and all I saw was Fang jump, and I was like, you can't jump in this game. And then it clicked, and I was like, oh!
Yeah, you definitely, also, correction, sorry about the final scores, because apparently scorecard is being a bit funky. We're looking at, there we go, 90 to 78, so it is a 12-point match, as it stands right now. At some random clicks on the scorecard in game number 4. So we're looking at a 12-point match, which means that We Can't Loop really does have a lot of pressure here to win this. But that being said, Shelby, when you are ready, just confirm me who the last killer is going to be.
It's Techno. And can you confirm that score for me one more time, please?
Yep, that is fine. So score for game 3, 12 to We Can't Loop, 38 to Legacy. Current score overall, 90 to Legacy, 78 to We Can't Loop.
I put the wrong one in chat. Thank you.
No worries, that's on me. Had some random clicks there on the game number 4.
It'd be that way sometime. Happens to the best of us.
Exactly.
If you don't make a mistake, I'm gonna question if you're human.
Fair, fair. I can understand that. And so, that being said, it's going to be trial number 4, Techno Badger as the killer. And once we confirm on everyone's build, we will be good to go.
I just feel like Blade's judging me.
I mean, he does have those green, yellow, very piercing eyes.
And the jiggling of his body in anger.
Yeah, he's very jiggly boy.
Grumpy old man.
He is. No doubts about that. I mean, there are always other options who are just as menacing looking at the end of the day.
True.
Now we could have a chat with the Trickster instead.
Yes, Trickster is the most menacing character in the entire game. Especially like when he wins you, he takes your breath away. Yes.
Who, in your opinion, if you had a staring contest, would be the hardest to stare down? Other than Clown, of course.
Hardest to stare down?
Yeah, obviously there's Blight would be a pretty hard one.
Oni.
Oni, really?
Maybe?
I mean, he's not too bad, I'd argue.
I don't know.
And that's an interesting question, isn't it?
Yeah, Doctor?
Doctor, you know, with his forever smile there, especially the looksy one.
Oh, I would love to look at Looksy all day. I mean, what?
And looks like at some point we did lose our lobby. Let me try and rejoin back on Techno real quick. I thought they were already set up, but apparently not.
Someone
There we
crashed,
go.
so they reset.
Okay, I was like, I'm over here looking at the killers, and they're over there, you know, trying to fix the lobby again. Hag would be Akka would actually be a pretty menacing one to stare down.
What is that cosmetic?
So that is actually probably one of my favorite cosmetics to use on Hag. It is the Birch Witch with the stumpy dreads. And it's a pretty gruesome sight to say the least. Don't want that.
The reason I don't like it is I have a fear of zombies, and it just reminds me of zombies.
Yeah, I mean, many people have asked me for in my chat what killer I would love to see a movie for out of Dead by Daylight. Honestly, Hag. I would love a like genuine horror movie for Hag. Like think Evil Dead style. I think that'd be great.
Oh man. Okay, so I you know, I never thought about this with Plague. It's off topic, but Plague.
Yeah.
When she doesn't puke on you, she just constantly swallows her own vomit.
I don't think it's that she's swallowing her own vomit as much as she just upchucks whatever she has.
Yeah, but like, if she's not vomiting though.
Oh, I mean when she like sucks it back down?
Yeah, when she cancels it.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. That's why like when you know when you like throw up in your mouth but you don't throw up, it's like that. That's exactly what's happening.
And I also can't take Nemesis seriously anymore.
And why is that?
So, do you know the old monkey barrel toys? Where like you pull out, like you can open up the barrel and you pull out like the monkeys, and they look like they're like swinging together, and they're usually like on a chain line together.
Yeah.
When Nemesis is running, he looks like one of those monkeys.
I kind of see where you're going. I kind of see where you're going.
And I can't take it seriously anyway.
Fair. I can kind of see that. I can kind of see it.
I believe all the builds are good to go, and we should be ready.
All right.
I'm addicted to booping the demon.
The demon?
Like, I love booping Victor. I've befriended many twins by just getting on my knees when he's coming at me, just pointing and booping the face.
And how do the twins normally react to that, out of curiosity?
I've gotten a lot of farming twins. And I think the best one, I was playing Leon, and I told Victor, come here. And the Victor like was ready to pounce. And I just slowly crouched closer and booped it. And it pounced on me. And I just walked around to Victor, and when the twins came over to me, Charlotte looked at me and nodded and walked away.
So you were determined to be the guardian of Victor that match, from the sound of things.
Yes. Victor is my child. I'm giving him a better life.
I mean, you can theoretically leave with Victor through the hatch,
Yes,
so.
you can.
Only way
Yeah,
that does work.
if a twins will let me, I will always take care of Victory.
Fair enough, fair enough. But I believe at this point we are waiting on Techno to ready up. And this will be our 4th and final trial of this match. So if you are We Can't Loop, you're right now at a 12-point deficit. Honestly, not the worst thing in the world. What would you be bringing to the table?
If I was We Can't Loop?
Yep.
I'm trying to think.
To-
Maybe, I don't know.
To put it into perspective, at the most both teams can do, We Can't Loop can only allow one survivor to leave. That is the position that they're in as of this moment. Only one survivor can leave with 5 gens complete.
I'm gonna be honest, what I've learned is if there's a pig, I just die.
So are you thinking, I know Techno is
maybe
known
pig.
for pig playing.
Yeah, they are known for pig play. Maybe pig.
Okay, so I could see that. I could see that.
I've gotten a bunch of pigs, and there was one night I was playing with Lollygag, and I was triggered as fuck. Because 2 games, I died to the fucking tampered timer.
Yeah.
I died to tamping timer, like 1 game. And then the pig was just tunneling me to shit with my game active the next. And I was like, these are some fun games. I'm gonna just go stare at the corner and accept my death.
Fair, fair. I can definitely understand that.
So I'm just gonna say with RNG how it is. Probably a pig, because I've seen a lot of people getting their heads snapped.
I mean, yeah, pig can be pretty nasty if the RNG's in your favor and can be pretty lethal. The pig actually does have the highest kill rate of any killer, even though they are not considered an S tier simply because of the RNG. But just want to confirm with Shelby real quick that Techno is good to go. We're just waiting on them to ready on up.
He is. I did at him on our Discord to let him know. I'm not sure what the delay was, but he is ready. Or his build and everything is good, so we're just waiting on him to ready up. But he has been notified.
All right, sounds good.
Sorry, my headset got unplugged. Okay.
No worries, no worries.
Cats and cords, all I gotta say.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's why I've taken off some of my soundproofing. I had soundproofing at like the lower to the ground.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
My cat Meep decided to tear that up to shreds. So I was like, and there go your scratch pads. They're gone now.
Carrot just likes to lay by the new PC because it's warm, but he'll just occasionally see my cord move and he's like, I'm gonna just pull this.
Let me just
Because
nibble
I
on
have
that
it
real
plugged in
quick.
like a lower USB port. So he just kind of, yeah, literally. But like, I do think, I did see a really, really close play when I was playing yesterday, or the day before that. Yesterday, I was trying to save this bill. It's endgame collapse. They have an active game on their head. I distract the killer with a random, and I'm looking at this bill. His trap timer is completely filled. And like, he should be dead. And as his like jaw is doing like a snap animation, he pulls the trap off. Like literally last second on that game.
Yeah, no, you can sometimes have some really, really close matches to say the least.
Yeah, it was really rough because like I just wanted that build to get out because they were getting tunneled. It was a 2-man out. The other random like straight up killed himself to help me save this bill.
All right, well, I do want to keep We Can't Loop on the clock here and keep them honest. They have roughly...
What map are we on again?
We're on Cold Tower here. They have roughly 5 minutes.
If Techno does pig,
Oh, okay.
then
So it looks like
I just had
looks like Techno's sugar's low, and I understand life can happen, so especially with medical need, we'll be a bit more lenient here.
we're not monsters.
Exactly. Though we want to run a tight ship, especially as we do have another match starting up at 10 p.m. CST sharp. Definitely need to be conscious of that. But at the same time, medical health is important. DBD comes second to that, to say the least.
But I'm guessing Pig or Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised with Pig in the slightest knowing Techno.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying Pig is because it's fucking Techno.
Yeah, no.
Like, that's my explanation. Why? It's Techno.
Yep, no, would make
If
perfect
not
sense.
Pig, I'm gonna message him and be like, "You good, bro?" Because like, Pig is their baby.
Exactly. But we are going to be jumping into this fourth and final trial of this match between We Can't Loop and Legacy. Like I said, it's only a 12-point match, so it's not insurmountable for We Can't Loop to come up on top, but they need to make sure they get a 3K at the very least. And so if Techno can accomplish that, they will end up the victor. So let's take a look and do a quick confirmation on the Survivor builds in just 1 second. They'll be jumping right on in. Also confirm Shelby real quick. Did we do a prediction for this last trial?
No, I grabbed a
There's not
stack.
one yet.
1 second, I'll do it now.
Yeah, I looked over at stream. There's not one yet.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Chat needs.
Still going on with the things? The pickup lines?
Yes.
I blame you. Encouraging them. But as far
My
as
children, give us more.
as far as our builds are concerned, everything looks good to go. We see Claudette. We see, I think, Nancy? Then Ace. And finally, Techno
Oh, my favorite
as
survivor.
the pig. Now, I want to say something outright that I'm very surprised about here. Two different add-ons. We have Creative Gears. What's that yellow add-on?
What is it?
I haven't seen it used enough to be able to say for certain. Shelby, if you could do like a quick check on that, that'd be appreciated.
I actually checked before the match. It is Last Will, which increases your bear trap by 1.
Interesting. So, knowing full well that they're not going to be able to potentially get a bear trap kill, but potentially instead using bear traps as just general slowdown. Interesting. I'm very intrigued on this play.
Yeah, I'm feeling like they're wanting people to do gens, but also not. Like, I feel like what their goal is like early down trap.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Pig is such a strange killer in comp because on one hand, you slow them down with the bear traps. On the other hand, you want to make sure that they go, off of second stage. And something happened here. Do you want to confirm real quick the time frame of that? Because I know we have rules about the first 2 minutes for
Seo's
resets in case of a DC.
And it would not let them move.
Repeat that one more time?
Seo's game broke. It wouldn't let them move.
Oh,
Exactly what Jim said, yeah.
that is always fun. So I do believe that was within the first 2 minutes, give or take. So we will allow a reset on that. Keep in mind that is one of the resets that you can use for the entire regular season. At this point, We Can't Loop can now decide whether or not they're going to, change up their killer, change up their build, or keep it as is. We could communicate that as much to We Can't Loop. That'd be appreciated.
On it.
Thank you. So we'll chalk that up to DBD being DBD, as I was kind of curious to why they dropped the firecracker and just kind of sat there. I was a bit confused about that for a moment.
Yeah, I was too. When they weren't moving, I immediately tapped out to look at Discord.
Yeah. But with that being said, we'll communicate
They're
properly
going to
to each team.
restart and then rejoin.
Yeah, I mean, that makes the most sense in this situation. Do a full restart. You don't want that happening again. and costing you another restart for the match.
Mm-hmm. How many do you get for the season?
I believe based on rules, we're looking at 3 to be exact.
Okay, I thought it was gonna be 3, like 3 strikes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 as was for Season 0. Let me confirm on that real quick. So we head over to navigation, and we go over to resets. We are looking at... Let me see. Resets, disconnects, total of 3 during the regular season. So
Okay.
that'll be 1 of 3 for Legacy. I mean, at the end of the day, it's unfortunate because it is something that can happen, and I do believe that might be associated with firecrackers, as I remember that being like a very uncommon bug, but a bug nonetheless. But, so, it is what it is. Unfortunately, DBD be DBD. And, you know, we want a full game. We don't want a situation to where I don't think anyone want to get a win because of a bug to where someone simply cannot play the game as
While
much
they're
as
rejoining,
getting the
I'm
win
going to
is
switch
beneficial.
I'm gonna skip it really, really fast while they're rejoining.
Yep, they are joining right now. And while we're doing this, so, you know, in this situation, obviously it's really rough for We Can't Loop to have to reset, because they did have a theoretical leg up in the situation. If you were them, would you bring back Pig for this match, or what would be your thoughts? Nope. Are you saying something there, Fire Gems? Looks like you are, but Discord no longer working for me.
It's not her. She said that she was stepping away to the restroom, so it might just be her mic picking up something.
Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back. Sorry. I was like, I didn't catch what you said for a moment. It's like, where'd you go? And I saw your mic going off. Fair enough, fair enough.
I was gonna wait until the match ended, but because the reset, I'm like, never mind. No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
you know, definitely a good time to do that, to say the least.
Yeah.
A little bit of an intermission.
Just a little bit. I love that. I come back like, where'd you go?
Yeah, so for those who aren't aware about the firecracker bug, it's not really common, but does have a chance of happening. Where basically when you drop a firecracker, your game just freezes. It's not as if the game freezes. It's not frozen in place. It doesn't crash you out. You're
like the entire game is still going on, but
you just can't move. You can't really do much at all.
They used to have that same bug when you would load into the game.
Yeah, it's not a common one, and there's not many fixes to it in game that I'm aware of, unfortunately. It just kind of persists. It has not been one that behavior has fixed yet because it is as uncommon as it is, but it is a possibility nonetheless. But with that being said, you know, as we say before, it is what it is, and it sucks when it happens. But I think for the sake of sportsmanlike conduct, it is the better choice to reset that with a game-breaking bug like that, rather than, you know, basically playing a 3v1 instead of a 4v1. And we know how powerful that can be at the beginning of the match.
We also know how prominent D-Buddy is known for bugs, because Saloon is actually turned off because Saloon, there was walls you could walk through. And RPD is turned off because, I knew about this
You can
bug.
escape?
I'm not exploiting bugs, but you were able to actually, like, you could leave the map and just go explore. And that map has a lot of solid ground that you can actually walk around, and it has a lot of, like, details that you can't see when you're not escaped, like, outside of the map exploring. But at the same time, like, behavior. Why you do this? But yeah, RPD, there was literally like a wall that you could go through outside near one of the exit gates, and you could just go explore outside the map.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
It's just
Give me
crazy.
1 second. But right now we're currently waiting on We Can't Loop, just kind of deciding what the game plan is in this situation.
Mhm.
But with that being said, you know, I can definitely understand where people are, and it's a difficult discussion to have with me as a commissioner on what the best course of action is. There's no real great way to work around this, and it does suck for whoever it happens to. But I think for the sake of sportsmanlike conduct, it makes sense to reset in this situation. Obviously, where there are bugs like Cenobite, where getting hit with chains resets it, or when someone gets stuck in a bush in Dead Dog Saloon and getting hit resets it. That's one thing in which we wouldn't reset for, but from the first 2 minutes in the firecracker bug, I mean, there ain't much to it. But the game is different this time around. I'm going to be a little meh, bug or no bug. We can restart's annoying, but they have to be done. I mean, at the end of the day, it sucks. It really does. And I agree, and at the end of the day, if you guys have feedback for me, I highly recommend that you DM me. Be more than happy to jump into, you know, a call later after today's streams. But, you know, I think we need to do what's best for the competitors as a whole. And also, as the question did get asked about it, in instance that someone is using a new account where they do get the prompts if they have not played against a killer before, there isn't much that one can do about that. You know, someone's running a new account, they have 10 hours on the game, haven't played against any killers, and they see on the loading screen who it's going to be. I mean, to be honest, most of ours are going to know if in the first 30 to 60 seconds anyways, so it is a bit of a moot point in that regard.
All the builds are good. We are good to go.
Alright, sounds good. Thank you for the confirmation. But with that being said, we're moving into our fourth and final try for this match for real this time. Fingers crossed for no firecracker bugs. You know, though it was definitely a good start by Techno, we don't know what the start would have actually looked like if, in instance, that the ace had not received the firecracker bug is the problem. Chances are they wouldn't have sat at that corner and simply taken the down, even with I'm All Ears activating in that moment. So, it sucks, but much like anything when it comes to time and prediction, we have no idea what the match would have looked like if the bug had not existed in the first place. But with that being said, we're going to be jumping right on in. We'll be able to confirm once again for Survivor perks, as well as add-ons and tools, and then be able to jump on in for the match. For the match between We Can't Loop and Legacy. But yeah, I really do encourage feedback. That's something that I really do focus in on. So if you guys have feedback regarding the situation, send it to me. I want to hear it. I want to figure out ways to better work around this, but this is the best way I can think of doing so in this moment since it is a game-breaking situation. But we are back on in, and we do see Techno back on the pig. And once again, it looks like Lethal Pursuer was in use and does get some good information. It's kind of an interesting play on Pig. I don't really see many pigs crouching at the start here to try and get an early hit, but with Lethal Pursuer, you know, it's not a horrible idea.
Indeed.
We do see a sprint
That
burst.
quota actually scared me because I didn't even know she existed.
Yeah, I was about to say, did not see her at first, but that sprint burst really coming in clutch, and we do see Ace back in chase again. And let's see if this chase will go any different than the last one prior. Let's see if he's going to fake out the vault. He does not, and does end up with the hit, so good job there. Though the first Tinker on Cold Tower has activated.
Indeed, it has.
So question is, will Techno go for the ace or prioritize the gen upstairs? And it's looking like they're going to prioritize this instead.
Prioritize the gen and get a hit. Nice.
So, you know, I was thinking about this last time, you know, last match, quote unquote. And I'm thinking about it again. Though Cold Tower is a really bad map for totems as a whole, why no Ruin on Pig? Like, in my opinion, when I'm thinking of Pig, Pig is a really big slowdown killer. The main benefit of that, though, is with Ruin in hand, right?
Yeah, it's really good to turn and play. Like, you pressure a survivor, get them to be, like, doing... My word's dead, I'm sorry. English is hard. I guess it's... yeah, it's like, really good pressure, like, with the games that you put on people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not doing the... They're doing gens, they're popping... They're have a chance of popping their draw open. If they're not doing gens, then they're gonna regress.
Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting thing not to see Ruin in play, as we did see that the gens were not regressing from the start. Obviously, I imagine there will be some additional gen regression, whether that be pop, eruption, or otherwise. But it definitely is a surprise not to see Ruin on a Pig in this instance. And we do see pop there, so that'll be 20 seconds off of that generator. I'm also a little bit surprised seeing Techno open up that upstairs in that way.
So, I don't like how they open up that second upstairs. I understand why they open up that first upstairs, though, and I couldn't even explain it. So, yes, it gives survivors an easier way to run away if they're going at that generator. But also, you can see there's a pallet from that window. So if you're doing a mind game, you actually trick the survivor. You can get a drop on them there.
Yeah, so I definitely would agree with that, realistically speaking. The main thing that I'm concerned about in that situation is, you know, mainly the ways of escape that survivors have now. I think the main time
it is a better way of escape for survivors too, though.
My main thing that I'd always do if I'm breaking those and I'm playing the 3 gen over here, then that makes a lot of sense in my opinion. As that does allow them the ability to see, you know, all 3 gens. You have Cold Tower gen, you have the gen on the left, gen on the right, and really able to make full use of that line of sight. But right now, Techno applying some really good pressure. Obviously, 1 bear trap currently active, but another gen has popped. And Techno kind of taking control of this loop here. Will he be able to get a hit, though, is the question, and does.
Yes, he will. So now it'll be 2 games for people to be doing.
Yeah, so we still have Claudette out and about doing the bear traps as we speak. And we did hear someone on Cold Tower, I'm pretty sure. But we also see Nancy over here as well, trying to finish out this gen to no avail.
Good news for the pig.
Yeah, so I mean, at the most right now, we do see only 1 survivor on gens, as Claudia is still trying to find the right jigsaw box and does finally get the bear trap off. But as we were saying, you know, opening up that door really does allow a lot of mobility here for the survivors.
Yeah. I understand what their execution was. Like, I explained it. At the same time, in the long run, it wasn't good.
Yeah, I think if you're not going to play that area, then that's one thing. But if you're going to play it and you're going to be up here guarding this gen consistently, you're just losing so much good pressure.
I agree with that. But yeah, I assumed that that was also another reason too. Because when they broke that door, they looked at that generator, that like the pallet, and you see all of them like doing like a slight nod. But I really think that was a bad play. Because whenever I'm up there and the doors are all shut, I panic.
Oh yeah, because it's only one way in, one way out. If you don't have bounce lane on the drop down, you get the stun, and the killer can capitalize off that very easily. So when you give the survivors more ways out and you have to identify what that way out is, you're kind of, you know, playing a bit of a guessing game at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. Granted, anywhere they jump off at the top would give them that same stagger, but you've just given them an easier escape.
Yeah, well, it's not only that, it's just the fact that you do not have to, instead of knowing, okay, the only way they can go is through that one door, I know where they're going to jump down. Now you have to go, which of these 3 doors are they now going to leave through?
Yeah, exactly.
So it puts a lot more pressure onto yourself to really make that work.
Looks like... No.
But they are able to get the down on the Nancy. But on the other hand, there's 3 gens currently down, and Ace is without a bear trap now. I mean, there's pretty much always one bear trap active, give or take. But Techno definitely struggling here to keep up the gen pressure.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I feel like pop just isn't enough.
Yeah, in this situation, like I said, I feel like though the gen aggression is good from pop, and arguably using totems on, you know, McMillan maps is rough, not having Ruin on Pig, especially Pig, who I, you know, would say is more of a C tier, potentially even D tier killer. It's a really tough situation for them to be in. And because they didn't...
Know if that was Deliverance or Second Wind.
That was Second Wind. So we're going to see Nancy heal up momentarily, which is going to be really strong for them, as that means that she's going to be healed while also trying to get her bear trap off, which is really, really strong in this situation.
Good mind game.
No, very good mind game.
They must have learned that from the Spirit.
So, question is here, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, Techno needs a 4K without, with only one person escaping, with no progressions, and unfortunately, it does not look like this will come to pass.
It does not look like that.
You know, there still is a possibility of getting a 4-man, if you played right, if, you know, Nancy, for example, just isn't able to get her bear trap off. You're able to get Jill down. You're able to keep Ace off the unhook. Like, there are still ways to make it work, but man, is the pressure on Techno at this point in time.
It really is. And I bet Techno's feeling it.
Oh, 110%. Without question in my mind. I think Jill's bringing them over here very purposely for the balanced landing play, and there it is.
And Techno read into it.
Yeah, Techno read it pretty well. Honestly, if I was them,
Really
I might want to drop Jill here, who we know has not been, you know, anywhere near exit gates, and go pressure, you know, Nancy, for example.
Well,
speaking
there was
of,
also a gate over there.
yeah, it's a very tricky position for them to be in, because we have no idea what the progress of these exit gates are. But, you know, as I said earlier, Legacy should know if they just get a 2-man out here, that's the game. And sure enough, there they are. There goes Jill, and that will be that. Overall, really interesting build on Pig. Not one that I'm very familiar with, or what I find is all too common, especially in comp play. Once again, seeing Lethal Pursuer, which is definitely a little bit unusual to see a second time, especially for Pig, where I feel like the beginning of the match is just so important for them that I would be expecting more of Corrupt Intervention, for example.
Exactly.
But with that being said, and resulting in, for all intent and purpose, I'm going to say a 4-man out, since Techno did end up DCing, we are looking at 140 points to Legacy to 90 points to We Can't Loop, meaning that for the first round of COTF, Legacy will win over We Can't Loop, and they will claim the win alongside EMA, who went up against 4 Whites on Locker earlier today. So, overall, really good matches today. Really great play from both sides. Obviously, unfortunate that happened there in the 4th trial, but we can only do the best that we can do. And when there's game-breaking bugs, which we did see at the Firecracker bug, which has been around for a while, you kind of have to take it in stride. But either ways, GG's well played to We Can't Loop and Legacy. And on that note, we'll be live in 10 minutes. In fact... yeah, we'll be live in 10 minutes. I was debating whether or not just throw it on the be right back sign and have us back here, but I have some stuff I need to take care of off stream to make sure the build is good to go. But with that being said, Fire Gems, if people did want to go say hi to you next time that you are live, where would they find you?
TTV/firegems. I also put a little emote in chat. I'm actually going to probably be streaming again in a few minutes. I'll be doing some Overwatch, I think. But you guys should definitely keep watching the journey.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you as always for being here. Pleasure, and I will be live in 10 minutes here on COTF again, this time with all for Domo. So I hope to see y'all there for the match between, want to confirm real quick on the last one, on the match between Deadheads versus Milkshake Mafia. On that note, guys, I'll see y'all in just a little bit. Bye-bye!